sorry that this video is late getting out to you, but we are going to now work some more on our baby bunny. So when we left off, we had connected the legs and we had actually completed on the pattern that we're using round number 7. So now we need to do, actually, nope, I'm wrong. We've completed row number 8, or round number 8. If you would like, you can stuff the legs some at this point, or you can wait a little bit. But now we are going to just crochet 4 rounds. We're going to do round 9, 10, 11, and 12, and we're just going to crochet the 30 stitches like normal. Remember, we'll take our stitch marker out and we will begin, and we'll just crochet like normal around. Remember to put your stitch marker back so you know where your row begins or ends at. I am a first stitch of the round marker. Some people mark the last. Stitch the round, either way is fine. They're right next to each other. And we're just going to continue on. So we're going to do 4, like I said, we're going to do 4 rounds of basic single crochet of 30 stitches, and when we come back we'll learn how to decrease. So I am going to pause the recording, and in a second I'll be back with you to finish this round. You, of course, I recommend pausing the video if you haven't completed your rounds, and then when you are done you can start it again and we'll pick up on round 13. Alright, now I have completed round number 12 and we are ready to start round number 13. Now in round 13 we are going to be decreasing, which means we're going to take stitches away. When you look at the pattern, it's going to say R13 for round 13, and then in parentheses it's going to say 13 SC, comma, DEC. And then outside the parentheses it'll say X2. So what that means is 13 single crochets, do a decrease stitch, and do that 2 times, so in the end we end up with 28 stitches. And you'll see at the end of that round where it says a parentheses with a 28 inside of it, that number tells us that we should have 28 stitches when this round is complete. So in the first parentheses though, you're going to see where it says 13 SC. That means we are going to do 13 single crochet stitches. So let's start there. We're going to do 13. We'll do our first one, and of course we'll put our stitch marker back, so we got to mark the beginning of our round. So it's 1, typically it's the decrease that they do in a pattern when you are reading it, unless it says otherwise. So that decrease, that just means this next stitch that we're getting ready to crochet, we're going to go under that stitch like normal, we're going to yarn over, then we're going to pull that yarn over back through to our 2 loops, but we're going to stop right here. We're not going to finish it out. Then we're going to take our hook and we're going to go into the stitch next to it. we're going to go into the next stitch, under it, yarn over, pull through, and now we have 3 loops. And we've got 2 stitches there that we're going to turn into 1. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull that yarn over through all 3 loops. So we've now created 1 stitch out of 2. That is basic simple decrease. Okay, I'm going to take that one back out, and I'm going to show you how to do my favorite decrease. This is called the invisible decrease. Now, sometimes when you do the other decrease stitch, it can leave a hole. It just depends on how tight you crochet, all those things, and the type of yarn you're using. I prefer the invisible decrease because it's much less likely that you're going to leave a hole that you can see stuffing through. So to do this decrease, we're just going to take our hook, and from bottom to top, we're going to go through. Sorry, the camera's being a little blurry. There we go. We're going to go through the front loop only from bottom to top. Then we're going to take our hook again, and we're going to go through the stitch next to it. So those same 2 stitches, we're still going into them, but we're just picking up their front loops. Then we're going to yarn over, and we're going to bring that yarn over through both those front loops. And then we have 2 loops left again, and we're going to yarn over and pull through 2. And now we've turned 2 stitches into 1 again. So either decrease that you use is perfectly fine, and I'll show you both of them again here in just a minute. So now we're going to crochet 13 more stitches because we've done our decrease, and our pattern says x2 or times 2, which means we've got to do it twice. So we will work 13 stitches. Regular decrease, and I'll show you that decrease. Remember, we go under the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, then we go under the stitch next to it, yarn over, pull through, and our 3 loops, we yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Or we can do the invisible decrease. Take this one out. Okay, now invisible decrease, remember, we're just going to go from bottom to top and pick up the front loop only of that first stitch, and then we're going to go through bottom to top and pick up the front loop only of that second stitch. So our hook kind of lays diagonally. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull that yarn over through just those front loops, those first 2 loops, which leaves 2 loops on our hook, and then we yarn over and pull through 2, and now we've done our decrease. We are now down to 28 stitches in our round, and it is time that we do 1 round of single crochet. That's round 14. So we will take our stitch marker out. We will do the first stitch of our round. We'll put our stitch marker back. And now we're ready to complete the round. I'll be back with you in just a moment. All right, I have now completed round number 14. We are ready to go to round 15. Now, in round 15, if you look at our pattern, in parentheses it says 5SC, comma, decrease, X4, and then the last parentheses has a 24 in it. So that tells me that we are going to be decreasing down from 28 stitches to 24 stitches. And we are going to do 5 single crochets, then a decrease stitch, 5 single crochets, and a decrease stitch. And we're going to do that 4 times. And whatever decrease you chose to use on the last round, whether it was the regular decrease or the invisible decrease, you're going to want to continue using that same decrease stitch, just so there's some continuity. So let's do this round together. We are going to, of course, crochet our first stitch, stitch marker back in. And so that's stitch number 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5. Now we're going to do a decrease. I'm going to use the invisible decrease because it's my favorite. And this yarn that I'm using can leave some holes. So there's a decrease. All right, we're going to do 5 more stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now you're going to do your decrease stitch. All right, now let's do our decrease. Of course, again, I'm using my invisible decrease. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to decrease again. And then we're going to do it one last time. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have an issue somewhere. Let me see what I did, because somehow I have less stitches than what I need. Okay, I figured out what had happened. Please note that if you don't end up with 24 stitches, make sure that you did complete row number 8, or round number 8, which round number 8 was 13 single crochets and increased stitch to get to 30. I can't remember if we did that one in class or not, and for some reason I was at 28 stitches and not 30, so that's where I got messed up at, but I've got it fixed now. And so I'm going to pick up where I left off. We have the last single crochet of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to decrease on this last one. Now, really quick note, if you do find that you were off on your stitches as well and didn't complete round 8, you can fix that easily without going all the way back. What I ended up doing was I just took out the rounds all the way back to the end of round 12. So that way, I basically just did 2 rounds of 28 stitches, 13 and 14, without doing a decrease there. Then I came back to round 15, because technically I had already decreased down to 28. So that was where I had messed up at. Somehow I just didn't do round number 8, and I don't know why. I thought we had done it in class. I should have counted my stitches when I picked this back up. All right, my friend, we're going to do 2 rounds now of 24 stitches, because that's where you should be at, is 24 stitches. And we are going to do 2 rounds of just basic single crochet stitches, and I will be back with you in just a moment when I have completed those rounds. All right, now we've completed rounds 16 and 17. We're going to do one last decrease round down to 18 stitches, and we're done with our feet and our body, or our legs and our body. So this round, we're going to start with we're going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease. So we'll start with our first single crochet. We'll do a second one, and now we're going to do a decrease. So you'll notice that your pattern says 2SC decrease X6 18. So remember, that means 2 single crochets, decrease, take away a stitch, do that 6 times, so that in the end you have 18 stitches. Okay, decrease. And 1, 2, decrease. And again, 1, 2, decrease. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, and those last 2 stitches are a decrease. 2, decrease. And now you are at the point where you can cut your yarn, finish it off, stuff your legs and your body, and leave a long tail though when you finish it off. And oh, and by the way, it does say slip stitch, so we're going to slip stitch first before we cut it off. So we're going to slip stitch into our next stitch, just like this. Just slip stitch, and then we'll cut it and finish it off, and leave a long tail so we can sew our head on. And that's it. We are done with this portion of our baby bunny. So there you go. Your next will be choosing which arms you want to make, short arms or long arms.